I'm live. I'm live. Ooh, let me kind of adjust this a little bit because it might fall if I don't. Steering wheel's going to be in the way. Oh well, it just is what it is. Oh, yeah. Steering wheel's just going to be in the way. Oh well, it might still fall. Let me, you know, yeah. I think there's good. Yo, what's happening, people? Okay, so impromptu live stream from the car. I have a few things on my mind that I would like to share. Before I do, let me just get myself ready because what's going on? Oh, that's all. You know, I just saw a picture of Harrison Ford pop up on my phone. I was like, yo, yo. It's all right. It says he regrets filming. I'm not mad at that. I ain't mad at that. But yeah, something's on my mind, man. It's been on my mind for a little while, and I want to talk to you about this because, like, I'm wondering, like, how many of us really question our sexuality? Like, really? I mean, of course, there's people that do. I get that. But I feel like maybe a lot of us don't, and perhaps we should. Or maybe we shouldn't. I don't know if we should or shouldn't, but I feel like a lot of us don't. I'm not going to say we should do it or we shouldn't do it. I don't know what the answers are. But I feel like a lot of us don't. That's really what I want to say. I think a lot of us don't. Um, and whether it should be done or shouldn't be done, I'll let you decide that for yourselves. I'm not a psychologist or whatever, so you decide for yourselves whether you should or shouldn't. But I feel like a lot of us don't. And the reason why I'm thinking about it, there's a bunch of reasons why I'm thinking about this, really. But one of them is I saw a TV show. It's called Fate's the Wink Saga, where one of the characters revealed that she's gay, and she was saying that the reason why she's picked all these boys that are no good for her or something like that. I can't remember exact words she used, but something like the reason why she picks all these boys that are no good for her or boys that are that she knows are assholes, whatever, is because deep down she doesn't really like boys and is perhaps looking for a way of self-sabotaging a relationship because she doesn't really want to be in the first place, that kind of thing. And I wonder if that's true for a lot of people, that we don't really realize that perhaps deep down it's just not what we want. And I remember there was a guy in my school that he said that for a while he wondered whether he wanted to be with a boy or a girl. And at the time, I just thought that was the dumbest thing I ever heard. Right? Why would you be thinking about that, right? But now I'm thinking, like, maybe that's something that we all need to think about. Maybe because I'm looking at people, like, especially like these kind of hyper masculine people, and you kind of wonder where that comes from. These kind of alpha male type people who really got to prove how much of a man they are and how masculine they are. And it's like, we come across those type of people who that they seem to want to present an idea of themselves that isn't necessarily true. Like, the type of person who would tell you that they're a feminist and they would promote this idea that they're a feminist. And then the reality is that they're abusive to women. They're, smacking around their wives or cheating on their wives or, what I mean? They're just a really bad, like deep down there, not even that deep down, but just below the surface or below what they present to the public. They're like this really horrible people, or I remember this guy that I heard about who would go on his like a college campus, and he'll go on his college campus telling people that they're going to go to hell if they watch porn. And he spent all his time telling people they're going to hell for watching porn. And it was found out that, he had this massive porn collection, and other people like Jimmy Fix, what's his name? That guy, Jimmy Savile. He had the image of like helping children and helping underprivileged children and get them to fulfill their dreams and all this kind of stuff that he was doing. And then deep down, not even deep down, but it turns out he was a pedophile. So I'm wondering, like, when people present this image to the world and they seem to go, and of course none of us are perfect and we're all going to make mistakes and get things right. I ain't trying to say that. But when people present this image to the world, that they seem to go out of their way to present this really positive image to the world, and it turns out they're just really negative people. I wonder if that's true for these hyper masculine type people, like, whether they're presented this hyper masculine image, and perhaps the opposite is true. Perhaps that's they're it's just something that they're not willing to admit. And I know a lot of times we talk about modern day society and we say things like, modern day society, it's more tolerance towards gays and the LGBTQ community. And from the outside looking in, that seems true. From the outside looking in, I ain't gonna comment on it. I don't know, but from the outside looking in, that seems true. But I don't know if that's the case when it comes to this. Like maybe it's a lot less about whether the society is more tolerant, and maybe more to do with how people grow up in certain circumstances. Like sometimes we grow up in places where things are not just like frowned upon, but like heavily, heavily shamed. And some parts of the world you can get killed for being gay. Some parts of the world, families would disown you for being gay. That's that sort of thing. And I wonder if like that plus society plus everything else, by the time they get to their adult years, they've just spent so long lying to themselves about who they are, that by the time they get to their adult years, it just comes out in this hyper masculine alpha male type thing, because like they really need you to know that they're not gay. So maybe they're the type that, because when we're kids, we all do stupid stuff. I'm not even talking about young people right now, but say like I've come across like people like in their like 50s, like 40s, 50s, and they're still on this thing about like, laughing at somebody because they're two guys holding hands, or making fun of them, or calling people gay because they did something that they consider to be a little bit feminine or whatever. Like they're still on that, and not even like in a jokey, friendly banter type, how we kind of take the piss out of friends type way. Like really on that, like they will cuss you out and mock you for certain things. And this is like, why would you need to do that? You know what I mean? Like when you're a child, when you're young, it's like, okay, we'll do silly things. But when you're in your big, big adult years, like, why are you still on that? You know what I mean? So I feel like when it comes to people who really try to push this idea about themselves, really tries to push out this idea about who they are, perhaps the opposite is true. And I don't know, man. Like, look, I ain't no psychologist or whatever. I don't have anywhere proving this or beginning to attempt to even prove it. But I'm just wondering, perhaps when anytime somebody really tries to push out an idea about themselves, about who they are, about what type of person they are, I'm not just like being a generally good person or being a usual guy or whatever. I don't talk about just usual stuff. But when people really try to push out this idea about themselves to the point where they're mocking other people for being things, or they're really just trying to push out this idea that whether they're shaming other people, all that kind of stuff. Perhaps the opposite is true. And like I say, I don't know what the answer is. Like these people, my guess is that they spent so long lying to themselves that the idea of admitting it is just non-existent right now. Lightly salted, by the way. So yeah, just wanted to dump my unqualified opinion onto the world. What up, Sam? Just like when someone tells you how nice you are, run the other way. Yeah, just like that. Just like that. It's like, I mean, and of course we all gotta be good people. I ain't saying that. I ain't saying that. Of course we should be good people. Of course we should do the best we can to be the best versions of ourselves, right? But yeah, you get certain people who like really want you to believe that they're these really nice people, these really good people. And it's like, dude, just be a good person. That's all you gotta do. Just be a good person. You don't need me to believe it. Just be a good person. But yeah, it's like when you come across people like that, it seems like more often than not, at least in my basic limited experience, that the opposite is true. You know what I mean? Like they're not nice people. Like they want you to think that they're nice, but they're not really. They're perhaps like, I mean, they've probably done some nice things, I'm sure. But deep down, they're not, or maybe not even that deep down, but they turn to be not nice people. They turn to be the type of person, they seem to like want something from you. They want to, like, there's something that they want from you. You know what I mean? They're being nice because there's something they want from you, not because they care about you or because they think it's the right thing to do. They want something from you. And you might not know what that thing they want from you is right away. In fact, you probably won't. But they're going to want something from you. And if they don't get it, if they don't get that thing that they want from you, then you might find out how not nice they are. You know what I mean? How really not nice they are. So I don't know, man. I'm just really thinking right now that people who go out of their way to present a particular image of themselves, like just really excessive in one way or another. And I look, because I can't prove this, and maybe they are just genuinely like that. Whatever, I wouldn't know. But it just seems to me, it just seems to my limited human brain, perhaps the opposite is true. And perhaps all these really hyper masculine dudes, you know, perhaps that's true. I'm gonna come across like this. I think it's like a TikTok video where this woman was saying something like, she said something like, "Dear straight men, do you even like women?" And it was like, what she was talking about is like the way men she's come across and the way they treated her and some of her friends' experiences and stuff like that. And I'm kind of thinking about like that whole thing. It's like, maybe they don't, not really. Maybe they just can't admit to themselves that they don't really like women, that they rather be with a dude, but they just cannot admit to themselves. So they go with these women, and because it's all internal, they end up mistreating the women just so they can, you know, have an excuse to go away from them. And I don't know, maybe that's it. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's not it, but maybe it's part of it. I don't know. But that's what it seems like in my brain, that a lot of these guys have just spent so long lying to themselves about who they are that at this point it just comes out in this really hyper toxic way of treating people and the world. Just like Elliot when he randomly makes me a coffee, like, what do you want? Exactly. What do you want? What was that old saying? When a guy gives you flowers for no reason, there's a reason. I mean, of course it's good to do nice things randomly, right? I'm not saying that. I ain't saying don't be nice to people. I ain't saying that. I'm just saying that certain things, certain types of behaviors are red flags. But how you doing, Sam? I'm just sitting in my car. Lightly salted crisps from Sainsbury's. Figured I'd come and jump on a live stream, dump my unqualified opinion onto the world, because it's the internet, and apparently that's what people do on the internet. We share unqualified, uneducated opinions about things we can't prove. So if everyone else is doing it, I'm going to do it too. I'm going to dump my unqualified, unproven, uneducated opinions about various things. And who knows, maybe there's some truth to it. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know what the answers are. But hey. Most cases, if men dislike women, they have been wronged by them. When it goes the other way also. I'm good listening to you while I'll make food. Awesome. I'm the voice in your head while you make food. Cool. Add more salt. Add more sugar. Go on. Just a little bit more sugar. Just a little bit more. Yeah, just a bit more. Just a bit more. Just go on. Just a bit more. A few more teaspoons. Matter of fact, just put a whole ladle of sugar in there. Just get a ladle. Matter of fact, just pour the sugar tin in there. Just pour the whole sugar in there. Pour the whole sugar tin. But there is that though, yeah, like people who have had bad experiences, and I don't want to discount that because that is a real thing. That being said, I do feel like a lot of times where we go through traumatic experiences, one of the things we do is, you know, we go to another relationship, or we go to another, maybe we leave town and go somewhere else, or we move on to something else. And that's not a bad thing, of course, because if you're in a toxic situation, you should do your best to get out of it. But I think one of the problems is that we don't fix ourselves first. and we just take all that baggage and all that trauma into our next relationship or into the next situation or into the, you know what I mean? Like we go through these things, and a lot of times, guys, like we don't talk about our problems. I mean, I think it's getting better now. I think more guys are being more open now, but certainly like my generation, we didn't talk about how we felt about things and how things messed us up. We didn't. It was just like we just internalized it. We took it and was like, oh, I'm fine. And that still goes on today, but I think it is getting better now. But yeah, I do feel like when we go through these things, when we have these traumatic experiences, whether it's with a person or with a whatever it is, before we move on, we need to get ourselves right. You know, we need to fix ourselves first. Otherwise, you're just going to be taking all that baggage into the next relationship, into the next person. That's not fair on them, because they could be the nicest person or the greatest person or the right person for you, but because you've taken all that baggage along with you and you've pretty much dumped it on them, and you know now they're dealing with it, and it's like you could be messing up a good thing. You know, you could be messing up a good thing, and that I'm speaking from experience with that one. I think I've messed up a few good things over the years. It's a healthy salad tonight. Well, it was healthy until I added the cheese. More cheese. More cheese. Just a few more slices. Matter of fact, just put the whole cheese brick in there. Just a whole cheese brick. Yeah, I do like cheese. Cheese can be healthy though. I mean, in moderation. Now you can't have too much of it, of course, but yeah, it can be healthy. It can be healthy. I was actually thinking about myself recently on this whole thing, like, because like, I mean, I can remember like going out years back in school where for a period of time, for about 3 years or so, I think about 2-3 years, my best friends were these group of girls. Well, that's like 3-4 girls that I'd hang around with for about 2-3 years, I think. Ish. I can't remember exactly how long. Might be less than that. I can't remember. But it's for a while. Let's say about 2 years, at least 2 years. Like my best friends were these group of girls. And I would get teased by a lot of the guys because of that. And it was just something that I never understood. Like a lot of the guys, well not a lot, but some of the guys would be like, why are you hanging with the girls for? Are you gay or something? And it was something that I never understood. Like, if you're hanging around with girls, how does that make you gay? That sounded so dumb to me at the time, even back then. And apparently it's like, oh, if you're hanging around with girls, that means you want to be like a girl. And it's like, well, that's just stupid. That's the thinking behind it. And it's like, well, that's just stupid. But then I was like, years later, I'm watching the show, Fate the Wink Saga. And the lady saying that, you know, all these relationships she's had with guys that, you know, perhaps she picks these bad guys because deep down she doesn't want to be with a guy. She's admitting to coming out as being a lesbian. And I'm thinking about that as for myself, like, you know, because not all my relationships, most of them, to be fair, you know, haven't been too good. And there's definitely been quite a lot of self-sabotage in some of them. So I'm kind of thinking, does that apply to me? You know, is that the reason for me? And especially as like I'm realizing that a lot of stuff that I like music and stuff like that, are things that typically get associated with being a homosexual. And a lot of my favorite like artists right now, like Beyonce, Kylie Minogue, Taylor Swift, you know, I'll listen to that no problem. But then a lot of that is associated with music that gay people listen to. Even some of my clothes and the way I dress, like a lot of it associated with what gay people do. And I've never really given it any thought. But now I'm thinking like, am I? Maybe all this time, like I just assumed, because like you don't question these things, just assume. So I've been thinking about this, and I don't think I am. Like I feel like I'm about 99% certain I'm not. But even still, it's like perhaps that's a thing. Like a lot of us don't actually really question ourselves about what it is that we want in this world, or what is it that we really like. We just kind of go through life and accept what's given to us. And I don't know if the answer is to just admit you're gay. I don't know. Maybe that's not the answer. Maybe that's going to make things worse. I don't know. Individuals, right? But I'm thinking perhaps that is part of why we have people who are just these very kind of aggressive, need you to know that they're a man type people. And it's like, maybe you're gay. Maybe. I ain't no psychologist, but maybe. Go on a date with a dude, try it. I might do that actually. That's why I ain't a relationship jumper, and it's graded far too lazy to stand great in life. It's too short. I saw this video actually. This guy was talking about wanting to get married to a man. As a straight guy, and he wanted to get married to another straight man. I mean, the video was kind of done as a joke, but I can't lie, it made sense. It made sense. He was like, look, I'm a straight man, and I want to marry another straight man. Now, hear me out. This is what he says. Hear me out. Look, we can have separate rooms. You can have as many girls over as you want. I don't care about that. Do what you want. Live your life. I don't care about that. We just split the bills. All right? We just split the bills. And because we got two incomes, we can get cool stuff like motorcycles and boats. And like, you know what I mean? Just do cool stuff like that. I was thinking about it. You know what? That might be a bad idea. That might not be a bad idea. Maybe just a bit on the feminine side. Okay, but whatever, you only have one life to live it. No, indeed. I saw that video, I ship it. I was listening to that like, you know what? That actually makes sense. Like, yeah. I mean, one way or another, you got to figure out how to be happy in this world, I think. And that's going to be different for different people, of course. But yeah, figure out how to enjoy whatever life you have, without hurting nobody. Well, as much as possible. It's not always possible to get through life without hurting anybody. I mean, that's kind of part of the human experience. Is at some point we're going to hurt somebody. That is what it is. But if it does happen, acknowledge it, apologize, blah 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 blah. But yeah, I feel like just figure out how to be happy in this world, and I'm not sure a lot of us do that. And to be fair, not everybody has depending on where in the world you are, not everybody has the luxury to do that. But for those who do, like even still, like not a lot of us do that. I don't think so. Yeah. Yeah. I'm having very healthy crisps. They're lightly salted, which means they're lightly salted, so it's okay to eat these. I'm being healthy today. But yeah, I guess my day's been alright. You know, so far so good. Did a little cab work, about to do a little bit more in a little while. You know, having me a break. Did a little writing, working on a video. When Elle came out, he was terrified and telling me what my reaction was, and she was impressed. Like, so, Mom, I got something to tell you. It's you know, my friend Sally. Well, she's more than just a friend. Sam's like, okay. Well, see, she's my girlfriend. Sam be like, uh-huh. So, you still gonna go to shops and do like, get the milk and bread, right? Because, this fridge ain't gonna fill itself. One of my best friends right now is this a gay lady. Known her for years at this point, probably more than 10 years at this point. And I consider her to be one of my best friends. I don't know if she considers me to be one of her best friends. And that might be, I mean, I hope at least she considers me a friend, at least. I think she at least considers me a friend. I think I'm confident enough to say she considers me a friend. I don't know if she considers me one of her best friends, but I consider her one of my best friends. But yeah, no, she's a really cool person. I've known her for years, and she's just like this really free soul. You know what I mean? Like just as really free, just in terms of like how she lives her life, and you know how she goes about her day and the things she does, and you know whether she's posting on social, whatever, things like that. And something I really admire about her, she just has this real freedom about who she is and how she lives and expresses herself in the world. And I kind of feel like, I mean, I don't know if I want to do that, but yeah, I do kind of feel sometimes like I want to be like more like that. You know what I mean? Like more, and I think I'm getting there. Maybe I'm this. Maybe there's days where I am there, right? Maybe there's days where I am there, but I feel like most days I feel like I'm just edging towards it. But yeah. Wants to change. She dates girls, so what? Indeed. You know, as long as they ain't dating no like bum or something like that. You know what I mean? Some like, as long as she's not dating some like girl that's just like all like mean and like wears vests or something like. I don't know. I don't know what the lesbian equivalent of a deadbeat dude is. Like, you know the type of dude that like sits on the couch all day and like wears those like string vests, you know, drinks beer and shouts at the TV. I don't know, what's the lesbian equivalent of that? Maybe, as long as you're dating the lesbian equivalent of that, then yeah. I'm very open-minded. I'm not a vegan though. So if one of your kids came out to you and said they're vegan, would that be like time to disown them? Right? You know what? No, not in this house. Not in this house. You pack your bags, young missy. I feel kind of bad. No, that she was upset, so I bought her a cake. Oh. parents are gay, get upset, and then they buy you a cake. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I don't think that will work with my mum. I mean, none of us are gay, so I guess, like, I wouldn't really know, but I kind of got the impression that if any of us were, it's probably something that doesn't get told to our parents very anytime soon. You know what I mean? Like, it's like that's the impression I got growing up. And come out vegan, they're out. You take your tofu and you take your corn burgers and you get out. And get excited. Get my favorite. So you bought her a cake. You picked your favorite cake. Does she at least like that cake? That flavor cake? Does she at least like it? But you bought like the cake that you like and the cake that she don't like, and say it's for her, and be like, I bought you a cake, but I don't like Victoria Sponge. Like, oh well, I do, so I guess I'll eat it. You know what? I'm gonna behave myself. I'm not gonna eat all this right now. Save the rest till later. Yeah. At the very least, they had their own shopping and cook their own food. It was a salted caramel cake. Anyway, those though, like salted caramel is nice though. Can't lie. I tried the salted caramel latte the other day. It was like from McDonald's was there with it, and bear in mind it's McDonald's, so you know their coffee's like so, but still. Pretty good. I think I salted caramel cheesecake not too long ago as well. But yeah, salted caramel. I'm on board with that. Oh man. Speaking of cakes though, I was in a Starbucks maybe a week ago actually, I think it was. Maybe more. I can't remember. Anyway, it was in Starbucks sometime. I was getting a coffee and I was looking at some of their cakes thinking, should I get that cake as well? Should I get that cake? I was thinking myself, should I get that cake as well? Well, you know where they keep the cakes behind the counter? I saw there was a fly just going around, landing on all the different cakes. So I saw that, I was like, I don't want a cake. I don't want a cake. I don't want a cake. No, I don't. I think I can do it. And the thing is, like, I'm sure it's not just Starbucks. It's Costa. It's Cafe Nurse. Any shop that has their cakes in that kind of same kind of cabinet type thing, right? At some point, a fly is going to get in there and land on all the different cakes. It's just whether you see it or not. But I was like, nah. I don't. Now that you've seen it, it's like, nah, I don't think so. And even though I'm sure it's probably safe, it was one of those tiny like gnat type flies. I'm sure it's still safe to eat. It's not going to make you ill or whatever. But it's even still, the fact that you just see a fly just going around and land on the cakes, I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. It's kind of a shame she likes it really. Oh no. Oh well. Should have bought flavors she didn't like. For the prices they charge, they want to get on top of that now for real. But like you see sometimes like they have like some of the cakes be inside, its own, like they have it inside in a cabinet, but then they also have it inside like a jar type thing. Not a jar, but like I don't know, lid, I don't know what you call it, like a glass lid that they put over it. So like it's not just in the cabinet, but it's also enclosed in its own kind of glass lid. Sometimes they have that. So those ones are probably fine, right? But I don't understand why they don't just do it for all the cakes. Like put something over all of them so that you don't get flies landing on them. It makes, I mean, like I say, for the prices they charge, it shouldn't be that difficult to have the cakes displayed out, put something over it so you don't get flies land on them, and just take it off when you want to get a slice and then put it back on when you're done. You'd think that be like a common practice, especially when it's like clearly they can do it because some of the cakes are covered, but for some reason, maybe like one or two would be covered and the rest of them are just out in display and you got flies down on them. So I don't know, man. But yeah, they should do something about that. They probably won't. Not anytime soon anyway. Bloody lazy bastards. Oh man. Yeah, I was in I'm gonna get my backing jobs on next week. New intro, Christmas cake. Okay, so I got you, girl. So is all the cooking now? Is that like practice for next week? Let's say the last few times I've been in a coffee shop though, there's been like somebody there who, I mean, one of them I know was a trainee because it said it on her shirt, trainee barista, right? The other one I don't know if it said it on her shirt because I wasn't really looking, but I assume she was new there. But yeah, a couple of times I've been in a coffee shop recently where there was somebody there who was either new or training or whatever, which is not a problem. That's fine. But like today in particular, though, like you had like this lady who was like she was taking like the orders and stuff, and apparently she made a mistake on one of the cups she was writing on, and the other staff lady was talking to her about she overcharged them. So she wasn't being rude or anything like that, but she did. You could tell that she kind of like, what I mean, she'd had enough of it. You know what I mean? She's had enough of it. Like she wasn't like shout at her, nothing like that. But you can tell like just in her tone and the way she kind of approaches, like she's had enough of this. And I don't know, like maybe she is messing up bare people's orders. I don't know. But at the same time, I was kind of thinking like, man, it's got to be tough working in like a coffee shop like Starbucks or any of the like, kind of big coffee shops like Costa or whatever, especially when you're starting out, because it's like everybody like wants their order like to a T, and especially like it gets busy, and it doesn't take much to make one mistake. and that's like somebody with an allergy problem, like is vomiting somewhere. So I definitely understand like the pressure to get things right. But man, at the same time, it's like if you're starting out in that environment and you're a young person and maybe it's your first job or something, that's gotta be tough, man. That's gonna be tough to deal with because it's like on one hand, it's like you're just there because you need a job to get paid and make your money and you know take your boyfriend out or whatever they these girls do these days. I don't know, but at the same time, so that's really why you have a job in the first place, just because you want money to do stuff. But now it's like you got to deal with all this, and the margin for error is like most places you make a mistake and it's like not a big deal. As long as you don't make too many mistakes, it's fine. But in places like a coffee shop, you make one small mistake and it's a major problem. Man, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough. I'm only baking the Christmas cake. I've never done one before, so making a troll one. Okay. Well, good luck. Making coffee is a huge responsibility. No one wants bad coffee. Yeah, for real. For real. And especially in places where they are charging like more than the average, you know. I try to be kind. I try to be. But I was kind of debating the other day because like I was in Cafe Nero where if you bring your own cup, right, you get a bonus point. So I have like 3 coffee apps: Cafe Nero, Costa, and Starbucks, plus McDonald's. If that doesn't really count as a coffee app, but I got it as well anyway. But what happens is that after you get a certain amount of points, you get a free coffee, right? Cafe Nero gives you a free coffee after 10 points. So each coffee you buy, you get 1 point, and then you get 10 points, you get a free coffee. But if you bring your own cup, they give you a bonus point. So it means you can only have to buy 5 and then you get a free coffee, right? And so I was in there, and it was a trainee barista. So she's like doing her stuff, and she messed up the first. Well, she didn't quite mess up the first order, but she was doing. I asked for something. I think I asked for a mocha or something or other that they had on display, and she started making it. And then she went to the back, and then she came back, and she was like, "Oh, sorry, we don't have such and such and such and such." So she had to dump it out, and I was like, "Okay, not a problem." She cleaned out the cup, and then I ordered something else, and she was making that. And so I'm scanning the app and everything else, and all that sort of stuff. And I got like a cake with it as well. But when I'm checking the points, I noticed like she didn't give. She didn't. I guess they're supposed to press a button on the machine that lets them know that I use my own cup. Ooh, that's slipping. There's probably like a button on the till machine that they press and that says that I'm using my own cup. And I assume she did. I'm assuming she didn't press that button because I didn't get the extra point for using my own cup. And I was just kind of thinking, should I say something? You know what I mean? Should I say something? Should I bring this up? Because on one hand, I should get a bonus point, right? That's part of the reason why you bring your own cup. So you get bonus points, you get free coffee quicker. On the other hand, it's like I could see she's a trainee and she's new and she's kind of running around and blah blah blah. So I'm kind of like, should I bring this up? And in the end, I thought, you know what? Nah, I'm not gonna say that. And it's as far as I'm aware, it's the first time it's happened. It's not really that big a deal. So what if I have to buy an extra cup of coffee to get, before I get enough points? It's really not a massive problem. If I was going there constantly and it was the same lady and she was always doing the same thing, maybe then I'll say something. But one occasion, I thought, you know what? I couldn't bring myself to complain, knowing that it's somebody new. She's probably had a whole bunch of complaints that day, right? Just being new and maybe getting someone else's order wrong. I just thought, no, let me not add to it. Let me not add to it. It's not that deep. Let me just take the fact that I didn't get my extra point. It's not that deep. It sucks for me, but whatever. It's not that deep. It's a huge problem. Something so nice. Now I've got to buy one more extra cup of coffee before I get a free one. That's what that means. To be fair though, I did actually get some bonus points because they were also doing an offer with like when you buy the coffee, it gives you like they call it Christmas crackers, and you shake your phone and it opens up, the cracker opens up and it gives you like certain prizes, whatever. And I had two crackers because I bought one coffee and a cake, so they gave me two crackers to shake on the phone, and both of them gave me an extra point each. So I did get extra points anyway, just not from using my cup. So really, I got 2 extra points. I should have got 3 really for using my own cup, but oh well, no biggie. I'm trying to be bad coffee does piss me off. Free coffee, so yeah. Maybe if I go there again, it's the same lady, and she still doesn't give me the extra point, then I'll have to be like, hey, come on now. How long you been working here, woman? How long you been working here? You should know this by now. Oh, excuse me. To be Mr. Nice Guy, yeah. Had to be Mr. Nice Guy. Now I don't have my extra points. Flip it out. Had to be all like, don't bother the lady, you know. Yeah, that toxin is good. But yeah, maybe next time I have to go full Karen on her. Like, hey, I should get an extra point because I brought my own cup. I want to speak to your manager. Still though, this is a really good cup, by the way. I bought it. It was on Amazon. I think it was like £12, like £11, £12. I got this on Amazon for. It's a pretty good cup. Like it keeps the drinks warm for a long time, which you know they're supposed to keep the drinks warm. That's kind of part of it, right? But yeah, this one it keeps the drinks warm for a long time. So yeah, £12 on Amazon. Man, what's the time? It is 6:45. All right, let me see if I can chat for a few more minutes before start winding down. Apparently it's the World Cup soon, isn't it? I say apparently because like I really don't follow football these days. You know, like I used to follow football a lot back in the day. You know, like a lot. Like I used to support a team and everything. Like I would talk about it all the time. And I don't know, man. I think in the last like 15, 20 years or so, like I just have not been paying that much attention to football. Like I might check some of the big matches, like maybe some like the Euros or the World Cups and stuff like that. But even those, like the last few, I feel like I've just barely paid any attention to. You know, like there's been like a blip. They've happened, and it's like, all right, whatever. You know. But yeah, World Cup's happening in a few weeks, and yeah. Seems like an odd time to do the World Cup, though. I'm sure do they normally do them? I don't think they do them in winter normally, do they? I'm gonna have to check on that because I feel like they normally do them in the summer. But apparently the next one's in a few weeks. I didn't look it up, by the way. It's what people have told me. It's not like I've researched it. But then again, it's in Qatar, this one. So I don't know. Maybe they got like summer all year round in Qatar. They don't have to worry about that. Maybe. Speaking of travel as well, though, like I'm still waiting on the visa to go Pakistan. So what I have right now is what they call an ETA, an electronic travel authorization. But I don't actually have the visa. But the thing about the ETA they gave me is that it expires on the 9th of January. Even though when I applied for it, I put that I'm not traveling, and I put I'm traveling between the 25th and the 31st of January. Or was it 20? whatever, and last week of January. I put on traveling the last week of January, and they sent me an ETA that expires on the 9th of January. So yeah, I had to write back to them and say, yeah, can you change the date on this? And they haven't got back to me yet. And I still have, they haven't got the, I don't know. It's looking like one of these things that I might have to apply for it again, like nearer to the day, and see what happens there. But with an ETA, you can still go to the country, you can still go to Pakistan, but it just means you have to get the visa when you're in Pakistan, which if it comes, hopefully it doesn't come to that, but if it does, then cool, I can still go. I just hope that it's not going to be one of these things where it just take ages, because I've only got a few days while I'm there. I don't want to spend like, you know, 4 days in an airport waiting for a visa, and there's like 1 day in the country, and then I've got to go back that same afternoon. You know what I mean? It's like, come on. But I tell you what though, next time I travel, next place I travel, God willing, I will not be going to a place where that requires a visa, because that process is long. That whole visa application thing is long. So after this, mate, I'm only traveling to places that don't require a visa to go to, where you can just like go with a passport and be done with it. Go for it. So a week, well, 5 days really, 5 days. Hang on, there he is, back at work. You don't have to watch it. So if he was at home, it'd be like non-stop, England, England. Man, it's probably going to be like that over the next few weeks, I guess, when it starts. You know, everybody out in the street partying or whatever, drinking. All right. Just keep my car clean. Just don't mess up my car. We good. We good. But yeah, I think I want to go to Amsterdam after Pakistan. Like not like right away, but maybe like a month or two after that. Like go to Amsterdam. Amsterdam you don't need a visa for, so I think I might want to do that. I might try a few places in Europe. We'll see how it goes. I think I might try a few places in Europe, because you can get a train to like the Eurostar to like some places. I'm thinking I've never used a Eurostar before, so it's like I could get a train to Paris, and then from Paris I can go to like I don't know, is it Germany? I don't know my geography, but you know, whichever like country is next up. But I'm just saying, I can go to a few different places on a train from London, and it's not that difficult to do. It'll take a while, of course, but it's not a difficult journey. So I might do that. You know, give me a few months, God willing, after Pakistan, be like, yo, let me hit up a few places in Europe. You don't need a visa for that. You just get on your passport and you're good. And I know a lot of them don't even need like COVID things either, so you could just like travel and be fine. So yeah, man, might just do that. I might just do that. It's probably gonna be more expensive, right? Because you know, Europe, right? But that visa application is a hassle, I tell you, man. If you don't have to do it, don't do it. I can't recommend it, man. I can't. If you have to, then it is what it is. But if you don't have to, it's a long thing. He only wants the the games. I hate watching with his language. It can get vile. Have a high tolerance for bad language. I wouldn't mind Amsterdam either. Yeah, man. They got that red light district there, innit? Yeah. England. I mean, I guess I support England. Why not? They're in it. I'll support England until they get knocked out in the first round. So then I'll figure out who to support from there. Yeah, that's where I go. That might be fun. Yeah, I mean, Amsterdam looks like a cool place to go to. I think one of my brothers went there. I'm sure. I can't remember. I think my older brother's been there. One of them. I'm sure one of them's been there. I can't remember. One of my brothers has been to Amsterdam. Um, but yeah, I'd like to go. There's quite a few places I like. Well, loads of places I like to go really, but I haven't really been that many places in like sort of mainland Europe. Like I've only really been to Sweden and Denmark. Denmark was like years ago when I was in school, and Sweden was like I think like 7, 8 years ago. But even like France, like Paris, like where pretty much everybody goes to, right? Never been. Or Spain, you know what I mean? Never been. You know how many British people there are in Spain? It's practically like second England. Never been. Never been. So yeah, that might be a cool idea to like get some money together and just like get on a train and just like hit up a few places in a few European cities and just travel around for a bit and come back, you know. Could be like backpacking around Europe for a little bit, you know. That could be fun actually. That could be a lot of fun actually. Where's one to go? Finland. Finland's like I think that's near Denmark. I think. Was it Norway? I know it's Scandinavian. All the Scandinavian countries. Yeah. Geography. Ooh, shit. That's not. Oof. All right, all right, all right. It is almost 6 o'clock. So yeah, I should start wrapping this up, winding this down, heading out of town. Appreciate you coming through, Sam. Anybody else who stopped by, whether you talked or stalked, I appreciate you, man. But yeah, I guess we'll see. What's it says? It's Saturday, isn't it? All right, so yeah, should we live stream again on Monday? Should be able to drop a. No, it's my keys. My keys are in my thing. I have to keep leaning on it. Should be able to live stream again on Monday, doing a movie. Now, what's the again? Terrify 2. Terrify 2 on Monday. And yeah, maybe I'll drop a few videos during the week. We'll see. Maybe not. I mean, probably best to not count on it because my upload schedule is like non-existent. I do try to, I'll try to keep the live streams very consistent. I think I've been doing okay with the live streams at least. So yeah, Monday, the next movie night, and then we'll see if anything happens during the week. But for now, Sam and anybody else who just might be lurking around, appreciate you coming through. Till whenever, if ever, peace.